I think we are live. We have Corey, a mighty mushroom, here in 2019.
In the year 2000.
How you been, man? We haven't talked in it's probably been over a year. Has it been over a year or something like that?
It's probably been like a year. You know, I did the whole kind of I did live shows in your absence for quite some time.
Yeah, I know it was cool because at my old job, I used to actually tune in. I would jump in every once in a while. You guys have seen me in that weird white room, but I would definitely catch you guys when I was doing work. I would turn it on and listen to, it'd be like it'd be like 2 hours of just you guys just bullshitting. It was beautiful, a beautiful
Yeah,
thing. So like I work days now, so I would love to start this back up again if you have time, and maybe we can throw it back, you do your channel, my channel, and stuff like that. I noticed that your last live show that was guest related was 4 months ago, so that was some time ago.
absolutely. I think it was Mark Meyer from the East Coast from the Baggage Battles, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's a cool motherfucker, man. Oh, can I say that?
No. No. No,
Right.
it's yeah, try to refrain because like
I
like what happened last time,
Yes.
I kind of figured out like what it was, and I think that since I'm under an educational banner here on YouTube, we can't discuss illicit activities because minors could be listening. So cussing, we can try to.
I'm not going to curse.
Yes, it's it's all good. It's all good. So I mean, it's like seriously, there's a lot of catching up to do, man. Are you still doing estate sales? And so like, what's your story, man? What have you been up to for the last year?
Holy moly, macaroni. The last time we did a show together was, yeah, it was in my basement still, right?
I think so. You tell me. You look like you're in a basement right now.
No, I'm in my shop. So in the past last November, I I had been looking for kind of a place to kind of dabble about in and kind of move out of the house and get a little bit more serious about this stuff and really see if I could scale. So I found a commercially zoned Victorian house that's about 2,000 square feet. And converted it into like an e-commerce processing center. So basically, we can take anything, just about anything, and as long as the volume isn't too high, um, we can take just about any small consumer product that's shippable, and process it for sale online in roughly 24 hours. So I've grown my inventory now to a roughly 4,000 items, and we're selling around 25 items a day. So
That's
it's
pretty good. And I sorry to interrupt. I remember you last time you were talking about. I think you were looking at locations the last time we talked. So you're saying you actually found a place to do your reselling and everything?
yeah, and I've been here a year.
Oh wow. So it has been over a year because I don't even remember you even moving in there.
Yeah, it's been a while. So just have gotten more serious about finding market gaps and making connections and networking with people who kind of do the same things that I do. I'm doing a lot less kind of information sharing online and more, less about items and stuff. I use Instagram to show cool stuff I find, for example, but I'm really trying to focus on modularizing everything in order to understand like how this business goes to the next level, how you take a business like this that's scaled from $300 to $200,000 in 2 years, okay, and and turn that into something maybe that could benefit a lot more people. So I've been thinking about projects that kind of go beyond the scope of what I'm doing now, so that when I saturate this place and I can actually maybe afford a staff, because I went through this whole trial of like trying to get a staff in here and using them to grow the business or help grow the business, and it just really didn't work. So, and I'm really growth focused at this point.
So you're looking at scaling. I thought you had one guy that was doing listing and stuff for you. How did that turn out?
So I had a guy who was doing listings for me. Well, I have several people who do listings for me.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'm thinking about writing something about what I call the contractor method to eBay, or the contractor method to selling online, and how I modularize things, and doing a whole presentation about that, because I think it's valuable. It's a valuable business. My business model works. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been able to scale it so large, so fast without any outside um, capital. But yeah, so I have one full time, pretty much full time drafter who's a contractor. I took a contractor, made them an employee, and they're just and the efficiency's just. I don't have the capital for somebody to be any sort of risk. I just it could
Right.
the whole thing.
And that's why they're contracted workers, not full-time employees, correct?
Right. So everybody who works for me now is a contractor. So for example, I have a room with, so I bought 100 pounds of Pendleton. So what I would do is
We're
like,
gonna get it. We're gonna get into that. I wrote that on my notes. I want to know about that, but
oh,
go ahead.
okay. So I have 100 pounds of sugar, and then I take that 100 pounds of sugar and I put it into whatever lots or packaging or whatever, and prepare it in the way I want, and it goes back in the room and it's parcelized, and then that person takes it and makes a draft for selling online, depending what the platform is, and I pay them $2 to do that, and generally it takes 4 to 6 minutes. So if you're working hard, you can make $20 an hour, which for a gig where the guys who work for me, I trust them, so they can come in at 9 o'clock at night and work until 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't care, as long as stuff is cycling in and cycling out, and we're getting the conversion that we need to keep our eBay numbers up, specifically to keep things moving. eBay is very strange. eBay has like this insane search science that people who work on the search science don't even understand. So uh,
Yeah, there's a lot of factors into play, and like what I'm doing right now too. I'm trying to build another eBay business also, and so I hear you. So that's actually great to hear. I think a lot of us that have been in this for a long time, and like I used to do it on and off for many years, and I'm kind of over the last few years taking it very seriously. You obviously are taking this whole reselling on eBay very seriously. So there's a certain point I see where people get kind of stuck, and the whole thing is about scale. And I really think that's really cool that, you're taking it to the next level. And you can see I've followed people on YouTube for like 3 years now, and you could see the people that are still in that one stage of like trying to figure it out, trying to do solo work. And I'm in that box for definitely for sure. And then you could see people like yourself and Nicole and everyone else that has kind of like moved up a step. I don't even call it moving up a step. That's kind of like, oh yeah, we're moving up a step. But you know what I'm saying? It's like there's this progression of scale. Well, it's scaling. So of course it's
yeah,
going to be moving
there,
up.
there's a lot of mystery to this business, and there's a lot of variability. So scaling is extremely difficult. Uh, um, yeah, but so let's talk about you for a second. So you're doing like an eBay project for the American Cancer Society store. Is that right?
Yeah. So speaking of scaling, so I actually there's a little bit of a backstory to this whole thing, and I'll go into that, and then I'll explain what's going on with me. This is a whole new thing for me. Basically, in July, I lost my job that I had for 15 years. The job that I used to go and
I didn't know that.
yeah. So we were our my position was outsourced to India, and
Yeah.
it was one of those things, and I was there for 15 years, and it was in post production. I worked on Netflix movies and iTunes movies and things like that. I was an editor and encoder. I did a lot of technical stuff with movies, and that job came to an end in July. So I was on unemployment. I was trying to do reselling full time because I had the time, and I was trying to do all different kinds of things, and just like it was just things. I mean, the things is it wasn't as easy as everyone makes it seem.
No,
Um,
it's
no,
not.
and you really you can't. It's not like you can just come in at 9 and clock out at 5. Like resellers literally got to work 24/7. Almost it feels like in a way to even get to the next level. But anyway, so what are you doing?
I'm blocking this light out slightly.
Oh, I see. So what happens is I used to go to this American Cancer Society thrift shop for years that was like a few miles away, and I became um, like friends with the managers and the staff and things like that. And, a very personable and a little side note for everyone that's in this thing, definitely get relationships with managers at thrift shops if you can. For me, it was a natural thing, just my personality, and I know a lot of stuff and I help them, uh, basically like an unpaid consultant for them, because they would call me when they'd get certain things in, and because I'm pretty knowledgeable on things. I've been around the block, and so they would call me when they get video games in and stuff like that. So it was actually like, there was the a give and take there. But anyways, a lady went on to move to another state, and there was a position open, which was an eBay lister. And so I went into the one of the higher ups in the American Cancer Society and did an interview with two ladies. And I literally just hit it out the park, because I've been doing eBay since 1995, so I knew what I was doing. And so I basically got hired, and I've been doing that ever since. So my job is basically running their eBay business, and trying to scale them up, because the stuff that we get in is like amazing. You've seen some of the Instagram.
Dude,
uh,
murder.
yeah.
Murder.
So my whole game plan is to get them to seven figures in 2 to 5 years.
Dude, based on the quality of the items that I've been seeing, with a little bit of longevity and the ability to sort some things, uh, you can extract massive value. Wait, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, just not to give out away all the information, but I see there's like a lot of areas that are just like untapped, dude. And like, so I can see the business. I could scale that business, because they do have the capital to get supplies and different things. And I think we have like 40 shops in California, and like a lot of them aren't even using eBay. And so yeah, that's where I'm at right now, dude. I
Huge
have
opportunities.
Yeah, I mean, it's really great. And so I'm going to help the American Cancer Society scale their business. And so that it's almost crazy that, like, I've been doing this for many years, and I finally found pretty much my dream job, dude. Like, I love it. I go into work, and I clock out, because I swear it feels like I'm playing. And a lot of the vice presidents and all the people that run this company, they really love what I'm doing, and they give me like free reign to kind of like, because they know, I'm trying to build their business in that particular sector.
And they have no idea how, they just have
Right.
no clue.
They had an idea, but it was like, um I don't think they ever had someone that was passionate and then knew eBay and like items like inside and out. Because I have people that call me and email me all the time with photos. They're like, what's this? People in the shop are always pulling me to the side. I know a lot about art, which is like we get in tons of art, we get in tons of books and clothes, and like, it's crazy, and it's fun, man. So yeah, that's what I've been doing the last couple months.
Stuff too. Yeah, man. Well, congratulations. That's a huge milestone. Sometimes you think, oh gosh, I lost this job of 15 years and I was comfortable with it. And then it kind of forces you to get out there and look at, maybe a different way of how the world works a little bit. So,
Right. And it was funny, because I had so much experience in post production that people were, emailing me and calling me and asking me to come in and work for them doing temp work. And I was just like, there was something in the bottom of my heart that was saying, just nah, like, let's just see if this reselling thing can come through. And I was doing stuff on Steam It, and I've been doing stuff on YouTube, and that was getting me by. So yeah, dude, it's cool.
that's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, and like if you ever need like any advice on scaling organization, how I do things here, we ship 99% of our orders on time, same day. 85% of our orders get to our customers in 2 business days.
Yeah, and that's
So
important.
yeah, it's pretty big. Hey, it's Young.
Yeah,
Do
Young's here.
you want to have a little tour of the office here really quick?
Yes, let's do this.
Okay, cool. All right, it's a little bit dark.
Is it gonna? Oh, you're on your phone, so it's gonna work.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right, cool. So let's start. I'll turn this around. It's a little bit dark in here. I apologize. Oh, is it working?
No, I just hear you. And
Oh,
you're,
oh,
yeah.
the camera off.
There you go.
Okay,
I can see you now.
camera around. There we go. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit of light here. It's a little bit hard to see. This is like the main shipping desk. The light's a little bit weird in here, but I don't ship at night. So the main desk, you have all your supplies and stuff. And then I just have my desk that I kind of just sit at. And then this is just a rack full of shipping supplies, all kinds of shipping supplies. And then let me turn on the light in here. When I had employees, we had a little board showing our productivity.
Oh, that's cool.
Do you see this? So
Yeah.
everything in this room is listed for sale on some platform. And you can kind of see there's another room across there. And you kind of come back this way. And this is like the intake room. So after sourcing happens, everything comes here. We have a small light cube and then the large light cube where we can take pictures of larger things. Clothing is really good in there.
Mhm.
And then my employee hasn't been, or my main contractor hasn't been here. So like all of this stuff is what I bought just in the last literally 2 days because I was gone for a while. So it needs to be sorted and stuff, but I just dump it in here until it needs to be.
You're like, I just come in here and I back up the four-wheeler and we just dump dump it all in the room.
Oh, dude, yeah, it looks like a backhoe dumped a bunch of garbage back there. Anyway, this is like the main intake room where when we're buying, like we have it set up and stuff, but I put a hot tub in here instead.
Dude, are you serious? That's a hot tub?
Yeah, dude, look, I was just in it.
Oh my God. It's
And
not for it's not for sale. It's like an actual hot tub for yourself.
yeah, it's 40 degrees Celsius right now.
Nice.
And then this room is a secondary inventory room. So, ooh, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, there you go. We can see you
So,
now.
I mean, if you were in this room, you would see lots of Pendleton stuff, lots of Pendleton stuff, lots of Nike stuff, lots of Nike stuff. I kind of source what's available locally and more abundant, So,
Yeah, that's great. I'm really happy for you, man.
yeah, it's cool. I have a huge outdoor area, which is really nice, where I had the hot tub before.
But then winter came, right?
Yeah, wouldn't stay hot because it's like one of those cheap ones.
Right. So let's change gears here a little bit. I've been seeing you've been posting a lot about Pendleton. Is that how you pronounce it? Pendleton?
Pendleton, yeah.
Pendleton. There you
Mm-hmm.
go. And I'm actually kind of fascinated with that stuff because it kind of looks like stuff that you would find in like Arizona. It's got kind of sort of like a Native American kind of feel to it. Could you tell us a little bit about that company and like how you've came across such amazing pieces?
Like I've been kind of a collector and seeker of Pendleton stuff for a little while, but it's always so interesting and expensive. I would always just sell it.
Mm-hmm.
So I never accumulated, and I would sell it cheap usually. So I never really accumulated a lot of pieces. And then last summer, I think it was last summer. I don't remember. Sometime in the last 12 months, um, an estate sale company that I deal with a lot, they were having a sale of a gentleman who worked for Pendleton. They called me. I kind of got to go in early for the both first and the second stages. I loved Pendleton already, and I acquired hundreds of amazing pieces at very, very fair prices. And I started to just learn more and more and more and kind of think about it more. And that made it just more abundant. I mean, it was always all around me in the way that it is now. I just put more energy and effort into finding it. But it's basically an Oregon based wool company. There were plenty of Native Americans, first people here. First Nations. I don't know. I don't know what the politically correct term is.
Anything is correct, sir. That's what I say.
I don't believe in politics, so
Neither do
political
I.
correctness defeats me. So they traded a lot with the people who were already here, and they were excluded from a lot of trading. And then so they kind of made products that were that were more like inspired and geared to like utilitarian use, and that's why you kind of see they make like blankets and high, very high wear shirts and things like that. And the mills, there's two mills. One's in Washougal, Washington, and one's in Washougal, Washington, which is right across the river from Portland. And
Mhm.
they used to have a mill in Portland, but obviously it's expensive to do business here. And then the main mill is in Pendleton, Oregon, hence the name Pendleton.
Oh, I didn't know there was its own named after a city. That's cool.
The other thing is their factory outlet store is 5 blocks from my office.
Oh, so
Only
that
one of those.
I will say one thing. Out of like the decades that I've been doing this, I've never found one Pendleton piece ever anywhere.
I found over I purchased over 4,000 pieces since I made that purchase.
Wow. I think here's the thing. Like I've been studying a lot of Native American jewelry, turquoise, and a lot of this stuff over the past year, and it's amazing how many books on Native American art there is. And I would say, like, if you keep doing this, you should actually like write a book one day about the company, and I think it would actually do very well, man. Because it seems like you're very knowledgeable about the different things in the history and stuff like that. Has anyone attempted to do that? Have you ever researched Pendleton books or anything like that?
There's a few books out there about like okay. So it kind of starts like the story is very like interesting because of the beginnings of the Industrial Revolution, like the invention of jacquard weaving, the adoption of jacquard weaving by Pendleton, and them continuing, the tradition of jacquard. And it was a really high technology. If you don't know anything about jacquard,
I don't.
okay, so do you remember the old punch cards that computers used to use?
Oh, of course. Yeah.
Imagine that powering those were they made programs
Right.
that a machine would use to make those patterns in the different colors. So it was a really early form of kind of like digital punch cards to create these products. So they kind of continued that. And I mean, for me, it's the highest quality fabric made in the United States by a long shot. So
Yeah,
that's
the
why
pieces look amazing, dude. The patterns are right. They're absolutely stunning.
beautiful colors, beautiful patterns, made in the United States still. So a huge proportion of a ton of my inventory, that's even some of it Nike, is made in the United States. And I really seek out products that are made in the USA, that started here and continue to be here. Obviously, I add value with everything that I sell because I sell it at a higher price than it was. Like by the time it's gotten to me, like several people have probably already been paid, you know.
Right.
So I'm just extending the economic cycle of things that are already in the United States, which I'm really proud of. Like I think that the thing that we do is a huge economic service.
Yeah, and the thing is too, you got into a brand that you enjoyed, and I feel like a lot of resellers they kind of gravitate towards their certain niche and there's certain things that they love, and when you start to do that, it becomes fascinating. And if it kind of doesn't feel like work in a way too when you do something like that that you like.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I went to Argentina for like 2 weeks. I didn't buy anything. I didn't spend any money, and because of the size of my inventory, I didn't suffer any sales loss really.
Right. And you were there for Christmas and New Year's, right?
Uh huh.
And so did you shut your eBay store off or did you have someone actually running it while you were away?
So I had one of the main contractors who works for me, Jeremy. He also works for a couple of other resellers and lists their stuff, and he uses some of his equipment, and I allow him to use my equipment too if he needs to use it. Uh, I just he asked. He said, "Hey, or what are you doing with shipping while you're gone?" And I said, "I didn't really have a plan yet." And he said, well, "Why don't you pay me the same price as you pay me to do the listings, and I'll do the shipping for you. I'll come in and do some listings and do the shipping." And I said, "That sounds great. Just bill me like you normally do, and we'll just do it that way." So it
Yeah.
worked pretty awesome. I mean, it's not hard to pack a lot of these orders. Like, sell a ton of stuff that's, I have some Nike connections now where I can get tons and tons and tons of pieces that are 6, 7, 8 ounces a piece.
Right. And some of the Nike stuff is based around Portland, isn't it? Like the main Nike headquarters is around you guys or something like that,
Only
am I
headquarters is here.
say that again?
The only Nike headquarters is here.
Ah, okay. See, so yeah, that's
And they
great.
have 30,000 employees who buy things, get things, move things, you know. So there is a ton of. I walked into a random Goodwill that I normally don't even go to. I look for specific type of shoes sometimes, but I had to pee, so I went in. I found like a pretty good selection of shoes, but I was like, oh, I'm gonna go look through the sports shirts, and because I have so much Nike in inventory that's new, I can kind of like embed other things that are obviously unused that don't have tags, but I've like very obviously came from Nike employees who just got the stuff and donated it or whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. There's just so much of it. So I went through like 100 shirts and 40 were Nike.
Oh wow. And
Yeah.
that was just in the sports kind of shirt
Yeah.
rack or whatever.
Yes. And I was just like, I think that was an anomalous number, but still, it's huge.
Does the Goodwill in your area, are their shirts still are kind of pricey, like $6, $8
Seven
or
dollars, yeah,
say that again?
$7, $5 to $10.
Isn't that crazy? Like the one that I have a few of them locally, and their t-shirts, if they're Nike t-shirts, they go for at least $6, and it just blows my mind because they used to be like $1 and $2 like 3 or 4 years ago.
I sold a Nike T-shirt this year for around $300.
What? Oh, what was it? A '90s one or '80s one?
It was late '90s, early 2000s. John Lennon, Instant Karma. So like it had lyrics from John Lennon, and then it had like his trademark on it or whatever. And then I guess like some famous rapper wore a throwback to that shirt, and it made the original shirt go crazy. But it was still a
Oh
cool shirt.
yeah.
Still be a cool collectible shirt. I have some of the most insane Nike and Nike related stuff that you could ever even imagine. Most people would never have any of the opportunity to even find some of this stuff. So, I mean, Portland is a great town for reselling because it's still pretty small. The reseller population is pretty small. Uh, Not a huge skill set that I've seen among the vast majority. And we have Nike, Adidas, Pendleton, Intel, early computing stuff. They call this place the Silicon Forest, and that's for a reason.
Right.
Uh, there's great sourcing here, and you just have to. I mean, I think the biggest, and I've said this before, and it's a good time. It's always a good time to say it. Like, there's this thing about death piles and this whole like idea of death piles, and actually, there's no such thing as a death pile. There's only a lack of the business process to make that product flow happen. So
Right.
it's a lack of process.
Right. And some people would call it hoarding. Some people would call it, oh, it's just my collection. So I hear you.
It's
Oh,
not a collection if you bought it to resell it.
well, yeah, that too. But speaking of old t-shirts, dude, have you heard from Crillon lately? I think I missed that guy.
I miss everybody from the show. So, um, I don't know. Like, we started to gain a little bit of traction, and then things got a little bit wacky, and I'm sure that we started getting noticed by the other reselling douchebag, uh, 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 content creators or whatever, and
Uh,
started getting a little bit weird. And I was like, you know what? I do this for fun. It's not monetized. We have like 2,000 subscribers. Like it's such a small thing. Like I don't even want to. Like I don't have the emotional space to deal with like being attacked by like
oh, right. By even the like undercover comments. You know what's funny is I've
knots.
Yeah, I mean, I've evolved a lot in the last year, and there things that used to get under my skin, like I can give two shits about now. It's kind of funny how, all that kind of stuff. Of course, it's going to come,
Yeah.
with the
Well,
territory.
I okay. So there was a rash of people subscribing to my channel with like swastikas and like all this crazy like
Oh,
white.
whoa,
Oh yeah, dude. That's why I like kind of pulled it. I was like, I don't even want to know what's going on there. Hey, it's Kayla. Oh my
she's
god.
here.
Yes. So so like you inspire, like I really love the format of your show, and my only problem with it is it's too short. I wanted to like stay and like have more fun, so that's why I started doing the show, because I really liked your moderation, and I'm just much more of a wild card.
Right. See, I'm a Capricorn, so everything's got to be kind of. I even have my notes. I'm like, if I get lost, I can keep us on track, and that's one of the things I think people would say the most positive things about my shows was that I was able to keep people on track, and I always felt like I always wanted to give everyone kind of equal opportunity to speak, because you can see these shows where there's like four or five different people, and some people get left out of the conversation.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, my show was more of a like there.
Coffee table chit chat. Yeah, of course
Well,
it was.
no, there was like a lion, and like you were, everybody's a lion, and there's like a gazelle, a dead gazelle in the center. And it's like go chew a piece off of it, because that's how it works, son.
Oh my god. Yeah, dude. Like I would see I'd be at work, and you'd start a live show, and then I'd check in like 3 hours later, and you guys would still be like
Well,
going
because
off.
I use the show as a utility, like I needed to work at night
Mhm.
because uh because of how things were like I was very busy doing things, so I would finish listings at night, and it's a great forum to just keep you um what's the word I'm looking for, like when you keep each other in check, and then you
I know exactly what you're talking
accountability.
about.
It was for
Accountability.
accountability, and to just be like, hey, there's five people who, like, even if they're not even good at it, like they have a perspective, and it's like, hey, what do you think about this? Oh, it's this. Okay, let's break that down and see if we can make things cooler or better. And I'm talking specifically about your own like e-commerce business.
Yeah, and I'm the exact opposite. Like, I'm such a lone wolf. I like working by myself, and I'm sure you've noticed that kind of style about me, where I keep everything tight. I'm a loner, dude. Let's just put it.
Dude, but I am too, and that's what I love about this business. So like like Jeremy comes in, works for 4 hours. I never hear anything from him. He gives me a bill. I check his work quickly to verify it, and then I pay him, and he goes home. And we like once a month I take him out to lunch so we can just kind of chat about things. But he does such a good job. I don't really have anything to say to him, and there's not a lot more that like. It's not like I can teach him anything. There's no reason. I, I can't teach him anything about the job he's doing now. Like, I totally help him because he does sell online too, but he gets in there to work. He cooks what he kills.
Yeah. No, it seems like you really got a good situation there, and it's actually crazy to see, um, dude, your accomplishments that you came from. It's like, the whole
I was
point is.
so behind the ears when I came on your show for the first time, right?
No, I wouldn't say wet behind the ears. You knew your stuff, and I
Yeah.
think I think that carries a lot more weight than people that actually know how to sell on eBay. Because if you know how to source things and source items, that's far more valuable in my mind than actually the execution of the sales and everything too. Because there's some things that some people don't know about, like I'd be consider you like an expert of Pendleton and stuff like that. So
I think I'm an expert at sourcing products in the $40 average price range, which is the eBay average price range.
and that's a good mindset to have, because I've never really had that mindset. Like, if I sell things for $5 or $10, I don't care. but it's all about your time. And if you can get items that are $40 or more on a consistent basis, man, that's the way to go.
Let's see if
What?
I
Oh, I see a Goodwill sticker.
can. It's Mate Cologne for Men.
Is that
Can
thing worth
you,
anything?
can you see the $5 price tag?
Yeah, is it rare?
Do you want to look it up on eBay?
Yeah, I'll look it up right now. It's MATE.
Mate Cologne for Men. Look up solds on that shit.
I will right now.
Today
Yeah.
I got this entire bag of 9 bottles of perfume for $55 at Goodwill. And I believe that single bottle will sell for 55.
No way. Yeah, we talked about that before. We would get some of that stuff in and it would just get disposed of because they really can't sell that in the shop because it's kind of considered like a hazmat kind of thing.
No.
Yeah, dude. So
It's like some of the most valuable liquid on the planet.
yeah, I must be stupid, but I can't find that anywhere. Oh, wait, here it is. Yes, 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 yes. It says extremely rare. Extremely rare. Make cologne. Vintage.
Do you see the green? $55?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah. It's crazy. Like, I'll tell you the truth, like I wouldn't have known about
It looks like
perfuming.
a cheap ass dinky label, right?
It does. It looks like it's something that you'd find at the 99-cent store. Absolutely.
It's not. Oh,
So
smells
let's talk.
really
Let's
good.
go. Let's go down that road real quick.
Sure.
So what 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 has been the most expensive cologne or perfume that you've came across in your sourcing career?
I found a case of Chanel number. This is like Chanel number 5, which everybody knows about, but
That's
there's
a classic one. Yeah.
other ones. Chanel number 19.
Okay.
I found an entire case of unopened Chanel 19 from the pre 1967.
Wow.
So in 1967 came the the um, the Convention on Endangered Species, or the Endangered Species in the UN and then the US and all that stuff. So certain perfumes like Chanel number 19 was made with ambergris, which is the vomit of a sperm whale.
Yes, so I heard about that. Yeah.
You don't extract it from a living whale, but it's still the body part of an endangered species. So you can't possess it in the United States, even I think at this point. I don't even think it's legal to possess. But
So basically, it was a byproduct of the whaling industry back in the day.
no, it like
Oh.
washed up on the beach. They vomited out.
Oh, speaking of which, that did you know that that whale vomit, it when it becomes hard and it washes up, it's like extremely rare kind of earth. I don't even know what they call it, but
It's
it's
called
earth.
ambergris, and they used to use it to make Chanel number 19.
Wait, so you're saying that white rock stuff is
Yeah,
what they made it out of?
it's an amber color on the inside,
We're
and
talking
kind
about
of a
we're
white.
talking about two different things. But
Sperm
it's
has an organ called the spermaceti organ, and it produces this wax-like substance from its food, and it has to get rid of it, so it barfs it out somehow. I don't know. It
so
barfs.
so that's what they use for the perfume. They somehow extract whatever from it.
They dissolve that. It has a sweet almond-like aroma that's highly desirable for perfumes.
Oh
But I
my god.
found it. You were asking about my most expensive perfume find.
Yep.
It was probably a year and a half or 2 years ago, because my time scales are all fucked up right. Oh, God, I'm
That's all
sorry.
right. Just keep going with it. It's all right.
My time scales are all messed up, but I found an entire unopened case of like 12 of them from like 1965 in
Wow. So
in
now
port.
were they sealed in cellophane like old cigarettes, or how
The
was it?
whole thing was sealed in cellophane,
Oh, no kidding.
like the 12 bottles.
Now, did you sell the case or did you sell the
I sold
perfumes
the
individually?
case.
Dude, how much did you get for that case?
Uh,
If you don't want to talk, is it something that you can disclose or no?
I don't want to. I don't want to disclose it,
Okay, no
but
problem. No problem. No problem. I
it's
can
more. It's a lot.
A lot. You made a lot of money. Oh, may I ask, like, where'd you find it? Did you find it at a estate sale or garage sale?
Basement in a house of a lady who was a cosmetics dealer. And the funny thing is, they didn't publish any pictures. So I was the first person in the house, and I got roughly 100 bottles of Chanel perfume.
So
they weren't all sealed, and they weren't all desirable.
right.
But the ones that were exceptional.
Now the sealed box of 12, the case, did it say like in black letters like Chanel number 19, or was it like very
Yeah,
ominous?
like a white box.
Uh-huh.
Said like it was a white box, and I never opened it, right? Because it was sealed, and it said like 12 bottles, blah 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 blah, blah and everything about it.
Were they 1 ounce bottles or were they more?
It had like this tax stamp on it or whatever.
Oh, it had one of those revenue stamps.
Yeah, it had a revenue stamp.
Oh,
on it.
nice.
Yeah,
that's funny. Now, was it 1 ounce or 3.4 or what was it? Do you remember?
3.3 ounces, which is like 100 milliliters or something.
Yeah, I think
they were big bottles.
Yeah, I think the number 5, the one that I have that I showed you, was a 3.4 ounce or something like that.
Yeah, they were 100 milliliter bottles or whatever. But I was blown because I didn't know what to sell it for, so I just auctioned it, right?
Oh, you did an auction.
Yeah.
Okay.
It blew me out of the water. I mean, it was very, very surprising. But I've sold several bottles in the $200 to $400 range this year, like unopened. There was I bought a bottle at this weird thrift store. It was like $7. I couldn't even find any reference to the formula, but I found references to the company and saw some other bottles. And I think I paid like $7,250 within 24 hours or something crazy like that. So
yeah, that's great.
These rare stuff that's like made in the UK and like Paris and stuff. There's a huge collector market for perfume. I shouldn't tell people that because
there's not a huge market. No one cares about that stuff.
Mm-mm.
Don't sell that stuff.
Just
you don't want to sell that stuff.
Just don't throw it away. Just call me. there's no market for it.
Yeah,
throw it away.
I pay by the pound. Just 1-900 send me your perfume. So that's actually crazy. And here's the great thing about the reseller community is you can like pretty much extract like so much great information in for everyone. And one of the things that you totally inspired me for was the perfume market, dude. And I was like, literally if it wasn't for you, I would have never looked at the stuff, to be honest.
Yeah. And the way I discovered the perfume market is I started walking into stores and I kept seeing like the same things in the same places, and I'm like, okay, these categories seem to be like untouched or not understood very well. How do I discover if there is some value first and then say to them, hey, like it seems like you don't want to sell this stuff. I know you're getting it. Call me when it comes in and I'll just buy it. Like I'll just buy all of it. I don't even in the beginning I'll just buy everything. Then I can discover what is of value and what isn't.
And as a pro tip, and that's when we talked about earlier in the show about building relationships with store owners and shops and thrift shops, is I did the same thing. I had a deal with the shop that I'm currently in right now that if they got any video games in, to give me a call, and I would buy literally everything that they offered. I would never, even if it was shit, I would buy it because they knew anytime it came in, there was money on the table. So that is a huge pro tip right there.
Oh, dude. So this happened yesterday. I posted some pictures of some Pendleton blankets I got, like a pile of them.
I saw those. I thought that was fabric. I didn't know those were blankets.
No, the fabric was one buy and the blankets were another buy.
Okay.
I was the person who the estate sale company that I bought the Pendleton haul that's on Reezy's channel. That I don't know if you watched that or not, but you should if you haven't, because it's insane.
What do you mean? Was it an interview you did with him, or?
Yeah, like he saw me doing like the haul on like Instagram. He's like, dude, just like let's do a live show about it.
Okay. I will go look at that.
It's really cool. There's a ton of amazing coats and stuff. Well, since I paid them fairly and even paid them a little bit more than they were asking, they've referred me to several other people who sell, do clean outs for them, yada, yada, yada. And another one appeared like yesterday. It was like a message out of the blue. Hey, yada, yada from this company said you may be interested in buying this stuff. I'd like to come show it to you or whatever.
Right.
So I said, oh, awesome. What do you got? So she sends me pictures of the Pendleton blankets. They're obviously from like the 40s, early
Oh
40s.
wow.
Pretty cool stuff. They're in bad condition, but they're hard to find.
Do they have like moth holes and all that kind of stuff,
They
or?
have moth holes in them, which is cool, but they're really worn on the edges because somebody put them on a couch. And
Right.
the pet hair wasn't there, which wool is terrible for pet hair, and it's impossible to get out of that stuff. So try to avoid stuff that has pet hair in it. But so she said, I want $20 each for the native inspired blankets and 10 for the other one. And I said, I'll give you $75. I don't even need to see them. Just come bring them by and I'll just pay you for them. So she came by, we talked, I gave her the cash, and she's like, I said, hey, look at my inventory. Here's my eBay store. This is what I sell. I will always pay you a fair price.
No, that's great. That's crazy.
Yeah. Like I don't like, I say this on my channel all the time. When I was doing shows, like I don't really like things that are free because you need some investment in the game in order to like be able to figure. You need some skin in the game. You got to suffer a little bit. There's got to be some pain.
Yeah,
got to be a little pain.
See, I didn't know that stuff went back to the 40s. Well, how far back does that company go? Do you know?
1875. I don't know. So right around.
Oh man.
So they were like right there in the right place in the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. And, people didn't want to trade with native people. They thought of them as lesser humans. And like, they were like, hey, like, tell us what you want. We'll make it. Those people can go away. We want to do business with you. We're not going to exclude you from society. Like people talk about Pendleton and cultural appropriation and all this stuff, and you'll see native people who actually live here who wear the stuff, buy the stuff, trade the stuff.
Right.
And
right. I mean, that's how a lot of the Native Americans in New Mexico too. They saw people that were coming in, tourists and things, and they made jewelry markets specifically for the tourists. So it's kind of like the same thing.
Yeah, yeah. So and they make very, very high quality products, which, if it's made in the U.S., I don't even care what it is. I'll buy things that are made here before they're made anywhere else first.
Yeah, I notice a lot of the vintage T-shirts that are made in the United States are the ones that people are they're very sought after now.
Absolutely. Just because they last forever. The 50/50s from like the 70s and 80s, they get like paper thin and they just don't fall apart.
Oh my God. Like I never realized how crazy the T-shirt market was till Crillon started talking about it like a couple years ago.
Yeah. I wonder how Rob's doing, man.
I know. Like, here's the thing. Like we got in like tons and tons of Loro Piana, and I thought of him instantly, dude. I was like, he would be in heaven.
It was like,
dude,
I never, ever, ever, ever come across that stuff.
Dude,
ever.
I don't want to give it all away, but there is bags of that stuff, and it looks like it was
make money.
Yeah, I mean, offline, I'll tell you the story because I don't think it's it's not something that should be to put out there like publicly because it's it's part of the company I work for now. But dude, the amount of Loro Piana that we got in was crazy.
Yeah, oh my gosh. It's more of an. I mean, Portland has just a different vibe. It's got.
I think
you gotta ride that wave. You got to ride the wave that is your spot.
I'm trying to think if it was Portland. I was invited by Wizard World a couple years ago to go to convention because I was, I used to do art. I mean, I don't really do it much anymore, but I used to do custom action figures and things like that. And I was invited by Wizard World, and I think it was Portland. I loved, yeah, you know what? I think it was Portland. And what I loved about that place was just coming, like flying in, and everything was green and wet.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like green and wet. Like that's all I could describe Portland.
Green and wet, except for during the summer where it's brown and dry.
I don't even remember what time. I think I was in there in like December or January.
That's a bit now. I love the Pacific Northwest. I am so fortunate to be in this building. Um, I am so fortunate to have the business that I have, and it's built on the supply chain that we have here. And yeah, I just can never imagine working for anybody else ever again.
Now let's actually go down that road. What kind of jobs did you have? Like literally, like what kind of regular jobs did you have in the past?
Okay, my first job was the guy like a bag boy at a grocery store.
That was my first job too, dude. How funny.
Dude, I had a red bow tie they made me wear.
Okay, that's crap. That sucks.
Oh, terrible.
It's
And
funny.
it was very like all of the women were the cash register people, and the dudes were the guys who went and got the carts, bagged the grocery, and
The laborers.
yeah, I was the laborer for sure. And then a McDonald's opened up, and I it was funny. Like I had just gotten a car, and I pulled into where they were building this McDonald's to like uh, I don't even remember what I was doing. I was probably peeing or something. I don't even remember. I pulled over for a second, or I don't remember. And then the general the region was there and was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Hey, what's up? I'm Corey. What's going on?" He's like, "What are you doing over here?" I was like, just stop for a second. I'm about to get on my way." He's like, "You want a job?" And I was like, "At McDonald's?" And he was like, "Yeah, at McDonald's." I said, "All right. I'm never going to make food. I don't want to even touch food. I'll work here if it's cool, but I'm not going to touch food. Like, can I work at the drive-through?" And he was like, yeah, that's cool. Like, we'll put you through the training thing. You can do the thing. And I was like, I want to make $6 an hour because I was making $4.50 an hour.
Sure, you're moving on up.
I want to make $6 an hour. He's like $5.95. I was like, oh, cool.
Oh my god. Oh god.
So the first day, like the manager dude was like, showing me around, and he was trying to put me on labor because I was a dude. And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna be working the grill." And I was like, "Hey, man, I signed up to not ever touch food, to not have to deal with cleaning all that stuff, and I'm not gonna do that." And he's like, "What do you mean you're not gonna do that?" And I was like, "I'm not gonna do it." It's like that's what I agreed to, and I'm not gonna do it. And he's like, "Okay, uh,
You're
don't
fired.
do it then." Yeah, he was like, "Then you don't have to do it then." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh,
okay.
okay, that's cool." So I worked there for like maybe like a year, and then I started my dad was like an appliance repair guy, and I had a truck, and they needed somebody to like do like deliveries of appliances that were purchased but like fast. So I was always available, like roving around. They would just call me up, and at the time before that, I was making like $6 an hour. It was a pay raise to like $55 an hour when I
Wait,
was working.
really? That much? Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was $55 per delivery.
Right.
I would take them until midnight. I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a poop. And so they were like, "Yeah, just stack them as much as you can," because they couldn't find anybody to actually do it in the town that I was in.
Right.
Then I used that money to start a. I used to like to play paintball, so I used that money to start a little paintball business, like rented out a spot and got some inventory.
On a side note, and I hate to sidetrack you, my brother's like almost a professional paintballer right now.
That's interesting.
Anyways.
So this was like 1996.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and then I went to college. And I actually wish I didn't go to college and move that online because that's what I wanted to do. But everybody was like pressuring me into going to college at the time, which I wasn't ready for, and I screwed up anyway. And then I started just resell stuff. I started to sell things. Like I would stand outside the science building on the last day of class and buy books from
Oh,
people.
no, okay. You started doing books originally? I didn't know that.
Yep. At LSU, I sold some books, but then I got shut down. Like, so somebody from the university came to me and said, you can't do that. That's soliciting. You can't do that on campus.
Oh, yeah, of course. There's always that
Uh,
person.
but it wasn't the truth because there were book companies that were in cahoots with the university
Oh,
that
okay.
put their flyers out and get approved to put their flyers
And
out.
the whole book thing is a whole like racket in itself.
Yeah, dude, I sold my first thing on Amazon in like 1997.
Oh, wow. I didn't even start Amazon till like recently, like
I
maybe in
just
the last
discovered
4 years,
that.
5 years.
Yeah, like 19 late 1997, I guess.
It's crazy how do you ever watch Jeff Bezos interviews or dive into his whole situation?
No,
He's
no.
a fascinating character, dude. Like he started with like literally nothing, man. Like,
Yeah, there's a story where he's like talking about um they were packing orders and he was doing it on the floor, so he thought he should get knee pads. And
yeah,
then
yeah,
Bezos
yeah.
was like, "Hey,
That's a classic story.
why don't we get tables?"
And it's funny because it makes sense. Like it's
Yeah,
funny and it's just one of those stories where, you know, this guy's like one of the richest guys in the world, but it was other people that helped build that empire with him. You know what I mean? Like
he
he
just
would.
never gave up, and he was close to failing many, many, many times.
Oh, I'm sure
He's also
he failed many times too
of
before.
exceptional intelligence, and just got into the groove and got into a pipeline that was like solid. But yeah, you could totally, so like eBay rolled up half.com around that time to knock Amazon out of the,
Oh, that's right. I remember that.
yeah, and that was a huge failure. Like people were willing to pay more for books on Amazon, but so like it was a weird thing to sell. You didn't sell on Amazon because Amazon sold everything, but then you could like register as a seller, and then they would fulfill books through you and all this stuff. And then back in those days, eBay, like you had to host your own images and all this stuff. So you would want to like find things that you could steal images for because digital cameras were still really expensive.
Dude, we get tons and tons of books in, and one of my 2 to 5 year goals is to get them set up with a Amazon account because the books that come
Why don't
through.
you do it tomorrow?
No, well, it's not that easy. It
Yeah,
is that easy, but it's not that easy because they need the Jeff Bezos guy to organize everything. I have to build the foundation first. Does that make
yeah.
sense?
My inventory is based on a book I read about how Amazon does their inventory.
Yeah. Have you seen the robots that move around in their
I'm
little
that robot right now.
have you seen the ones that are in China that they're the little boxes that like go and
They're
like all
shelf
these.
robots. So like the shelf comes to you, spins around, you grab the thing off, and you
Yeah,
go.
that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Well, Corey, we're coming up on the hour here, and I can definitely talk to you for another few hours. I got some packing to do. Speaking of our eBay businesses, it has been an amazing conversation with you, and I'm glad you were able to have some free time. And honestly, I really appreciate you taking an hour out of your night in your business to come and just say hi. I really value your friendship in this reseller community. I don't really have much friends, I would say. I would consider you a friend, and I really truly appreciate you taking time out of your night to just catch up because I think you're a really good guy, and I'm really happy for your success. And we got to do this again. Maybe we could do a show on your channel another night. I have some free time at night, so maybe we can start this whole thing back up again.
Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know we only had an hour. I would have talked less.
Oh no, here's the thing. There's no structure. I just wanted to, like I said, I wanted to catch up, dude.
Yeah, warm up, man. Your friendship is important to me as well, and you definitely inspired me to like get on YouTube and like communicate with more people and use social media and all that kind of stuff. And all that came at a really important time, and I connected with people like Nicole and Kayla because of that.
Both
Like
amazing people in
they,
their own right too.
I think they saw me for the first time on your show, and like they are like very important, like friends. And I like you said, like I don't, I'm a loner. I always have been from the beginning. It's not that I am like lonely at all, but
I'm the same way. I know exactly what you're
I
saying.
require value, and if I don't acquire value, then I just move on.
Absolutely. So with that so with that being said, Corey, we got to have Kayla on the next show, and maybe Nicole, and bring the gang back together again at some point.
Absolutely. I don't want to do like I don't want to curate or plan any more shows, but I'm willing to do. I love to get out here and like talk and all that kind of bullshit. So, uh,
Yeah.
so awesome. And next time I won't curse. I only cursed 3 times in an
Yeah.
hour.
You were good. You were good. I'm trying to keep my I don't think
Oh, we're
cursing.
off air. We're off air. We're off air.
No, we're on air. I haven't stopped yet.
Oh, it's weird. It says off air on mine.
Oh, it says live on mine, so it's all good.
Weird.
Maybe. Oh, you know what? Well, no, it's still live on here. And let me just do a refresh and see if we're still live on the actual feed here, which I assume we are. We are. So, but yeah, God, now I lost my train of thought, man.
That's all
What
right.
was I saying? I don't know what I was saying. We got to get the gang. We got to get the gang back together. That's what I was saying.
I'm into it. It seems like you have a cool project, and for the next definitely 2 weeks, I have a ton of time in the evenings. My wife and my kid are in Argentina, so
Okay, cool.
yeah,
We could do
peace.
that. So yeah, dude. So like, so once again, everyone, Corey, a mighty mushroom, his channel is linked down in the description. And next time we'll do a show, we'll do like we used to do. We'll bring on some people, some random people, and see what happens. We'll roll the dice.
Yeah, I'm gonna go live on my channel right now, just as a throwback, and I'm gonna go live, and I'm gonna do some things that sold for the last month. So if you want to go over to that channel, I'm gonna continue this there.
Perfect, perfect. Well, Corey, it was very nice to see you, man. And with everyone, thank you for watching. Definitely go check out Corey's channel. Subscribe if you're new, like all that crap.
Yeah,
So
follow me on Instagram at a mighty mushroom.
there you go. And if I can remember, I'll put his Instagram down below. Once again, everyone, have a great night, and we will see you next time.
Yeah,
Take
come
care.
over to the mighty mushroom channel. Bye.